Well, good morning, everybody. Meteorologist Travis Klineski back with you today to talk about the cold start to our morning and eventually some moisture that's going to be returning later on tonight and into tomorrow. Now, the big story this morning is how it is very cold this morning, so you're going to want to bundle up. Thankfully, winds aren't very strong, but out west in the Panhandle, you notice those arrows are moving faster. The winds are already blustery there, and we'll see some of those winds translate eastward as we go through the day today, with some of the strongest winds continuing to be in the western parts of the local 4 viewing area. So as that south and southeast wind picks up, that's going to help to warm things up, but it will add a bite to the air today. We'll see an increase in cloud cover from the south and southwest. The skies will become partly cloudy, then mostly cloudy with overcast skies expected tonight. Moisture chances before midnight are pretty slim. Our best chance would be down in northern Kansas, so some light snow, but maybe some sleet and freezing rain, and this is going to lift northward during the late night hours. Now again, this will be a mix of precipitation. While some of it could be snow initially, what's going to happen is warm air is going to override the colder air at the surface, and so we could start to see some mixed precipitation of sleet and freezing rain. And I'll explain a little bit more about the chances of this or how this works exactly here in just a bit. But heading into tomorrow, then, we continue to see moisture, but the heaviest moisture will move off towards the east. So it may be replaced by more of a drizzle or freezing drizzle in central Nebraska with lighter amounts the farther west you go. So your best chance of moisture continuing into tomorrow is going to be in the eastern part of the state. This will continue into tomorrow afternoon, but we may actually rise above freezing. So as that happens, we may start to see more of a mix of some liquid precipitation and a little bit of melting at the surface. So travel conditions for a time might get a little bit better in some spots as we head into tomorrow. Now the winds are going to be breezy tomorrow out of the south, bringing in that warmer air. But again, it may get warm enough for some liquid precipitation or some melting, but also in some places it may not. So this is why the threat for slick road conditions will still continue even into tomorrow afternoon. Now as we get into tomorrow night, a cold front, which will already be out west here, I'll point it out right here in the western part of the state, that cold front will be about right here. That's going to move east and southeastward Friday night. So let's take this into motion very slowly here. Now we might get some light rain or drizzle, still possibly mixed with some freezing drizzle or some snow. But then later in the night here, as we get towards about 10, 11 o'clock, now the chances of moisture start to clear out of here, but temperatures will drop off. And so the biggest thing, first off, we're going to get some very strong winds out of the northwest. Those winds are going to be very gusty overnight. But also we could see, with temperatures falling off, a flash freeze, which basically means that the moisture that might melt at the surface could refreeze overnight, causing more slick conditions Friday night into early Saturday morning. The storm system will clear out of here Saturday morning, but we're left with very blustery northwest winds into the daytime hours of your Saturday. I think the worst of the winds will be during the midnight to 6 a.m. time frame, but some of those winds are going to stay strong throughout much of your day on Saturday. So the type of precipitation is the hardest thing to figure out right now. This is kind of your snow and sleet accumulation forecast first off, with amounts that aren't going to be overly high. I think most of us will see 0 to 2 inches in central Nebraska, well under an inch out towards the west. It's to the east where I think the higher amounts of 1, 2, maybe 3, possibly a little bit more inches of snow mixed with some sleet are going to be a possibility. So I'm not expecting a lot of that, but we're also going to see that glaze of ice with that, though, and that's where we could see those slick road conditions, and that's why we have a winter weather advisory that's in place not just for eastern Nebraska, but for all of central Nebraska and north central Kansas. Now, most of this will start either midnight tonight or 3 a.m. tomorrow morning, and it will continue until Saturday morning, either at midnight, so that's Friday night, midnight, Saturday morning, or Saturday morning at 6 a.m. So basically what this is accounting for is the continuation of those slick road conditions. Again, even if we melt that off during the day on Friday, if we warm up enough, we could see refreezing overnight Friday night into Saturday morning due to that flash freeze as temperatures drop off late Friday night behind that cold front. Now, I want to explain the different types of precipitation and how we see this. Now, snow, basically you're cold all the way through the atmosphere, from up above all the way through, and so that snow falls, it never melts, it hits the surface, lands as snow. But what we're going to be seeing a lot of this time is that we're going to see a warm layer of air aloft above the surface. And so snow will be falling, it will melt, and then the big question right now, and where it's a very fine line, is kind of in that middle right there. And I'll circle that right here. It's this in between right here where Snow melts and then falls, and then it could come back through a colder air at the surface, but will it have enough time to freeze before it hits the surface or after it hits the surface? That's the difference between sleet and freezing rain. If it melts before it hits the surface, if it refreezes before it hits the surface, that's sleet. If it waits until it hits the ground, then freezes, that's freezing rain. We'll probably see more sleet than freezing rain out of this. I don't think we'll see a significant freezing rain issue, but even a little bit of freezing rain and freezing drizzle can cause slick road conditions. We're not going to see a lot of rain or drizzle with this event here, as we have just a small window of time on Friday where it warms up above freezing, but there could be a little bit of drizzle or freezing rain at times here. Well, let's jump into the temperature part of the forecast here. Now today, temperature-wise, we've got temperatures that will be in the 20s, or warming up into the 20s, some 30s, and even some 40s way out towards the west. So most of us will stay below freezing today, with above freezing temperatures expected way out towards the west. Now temperatures initially will fall tonight into the teens and 20s. This is before midnight, and then they'll rise later in the night. This is where I want to bring in my future temperatures product here. I'm actually going to change this up a little bit here. So let's take you into tonight. Okay, so this evening we drop back into the teens and 20s, and then we'll start to rise later in the night. So by tomorrow morning, now we're still below freezing early on Friday morning. But again, there's going to be a warm layer aloft, so things will start to melt, but then refreeze at the surface, either a sleet or freezing rain. Now temperatures will rise during the day tomorrow. We'll take you to about 4 o'clock in the afternoon there. Above freezing for most of us, so again, there might be a little window of time where we actually see everything at the surface melt, either as rain, drizzle, or just anything that froze on the surface like sleet and freezing rain may melt off a little bit. But then watch those temperatures drop off as that flash freeze occurs, that cold front plows through here. So temperatures falling below freezing quickly will lead to surfaces refreezing, and so road conditions slickening back up overnight, Friday night into Saturday morning. Saturday during the day then, we'll see temperatures rise back to the 20s and 30s, even some 40s in southwest Nebraska during the day. Sunshine does return for our day on Saturday, and we'll see those blustery northwest winds. So let's actually I want to skip this graphic and go straight to the 7-day forecast again. The messy weather comes tomorrow night, late night, it's tonight late night through tomorrow night late night. Again, most of the moisture will likely fall between midnight tonight and noon tomorrow in the form of some snow, some sleet, and some freezing rain. Tomorrow, later in the day and into tomorrow evening, it would be a very light amount of moisture. We could be looking at some very light rain or drizzle, and then eventually maybe some freezing drizzle and a little bit of snow before that clears out. Moisture should be done by midnight Friday night. But as colder temperatures come in Friday night into Saturday morning, there's still going to be a refreezing of anything that did fall before and did melt. It could refreeze, so slick road conditions are possible even into the late night hours of Friday night into Saturday morning. Wind speeds picking up Friday night. As that cold front comes plowing through, the winds are going to get very strong. We're talking about northwest winds, 25 to 35 miles per hour, gusts that could approach 45 miles per hour. Eastern Nebraska would have the best chance of some blowing snow with that, just because they'll see the most accumulation of snowfall in eastern Nebraska there. The rest of us just staying kind of blustery, chilly on your Saturday with mostly sunny skies. It gets colder for Sunday and Monday, down into the 20s for highs, lows down in the single digits. We'll see some temperature recovery then Tuesday and Wednesday with partly to mostly cloudy skies, temperatures rising back into the mid and upper 30s, so near or slightly above average by next Tuesday and Wednesday here. So that's kind of your forecast. It goes quiet as we get into the weekend and early next week here, but again, the biggest concern is travel issues late tonight after midnight through tomorrow night. There are going to be big travel concerns due to slick road conditions. So if you have travel concerns, or if you're going to be traveling basically anytime between midnight tonight and at least midnight Friday night, basically plan on taking extra time because it is going to get slick out there due to the threat of not only snow but also sleet and some freezing rain. Now, if you have any more questions about anything I just talked about here, please feel free to get into my Facebook or my Twitter. As you can see on the bottom of your screen there, you can contact me that way if you have any questions about the upcoming weather situation. But otherwise, I'll be back with you tomorrow morning, which will likely be much dicier by this time tomorrow morning. Thank you all for watching. I do appreciate it. We'll talk to you all again on your Friday. God bless. Bye.